Hi everyone, I'm Lady Teddy. I'm going to be reading to you guys from Magium, which is a text-based choose-your-own-adventure story app that's free on both Android and iOS, and it's really cool, and there are a lot of different paths that you could take from, and the third book is still coming out, so it's really good, and I recommend you download it for yourself if you are interested in this, because it's really cool, and I have a lot of respect for the author. So where we left off is I had just finished my the main character's name is Barry, so my good smart Barry run through, and in order to get to book 2, I need to finish some of the achievements. I need to get 25 achievements. So we already got all of the achievements for chapters 1 and 2 and 3. Now we're moving on to chapter 4. Trying to get the achievements that we can, which some of them we won't be able to because you need stats that my saves won't allow us to get to. But yeah, we'll see. Here we go. If there's anyone who has any questions, feel free to ask. Don't hesitate to ask. Okay. So, next chapter. And let me look at the achievements for chapter 4. Oops. So, defeat Cutthroat Dave in a duel. Won a duel against Cutthroat Dave, who's a side character who we will be running into in this chapter. I really need a break. Break both of your knees from a fall. Alright. I don't remember how to get to the second one, and I'm pretty sure I could figure out how to get the first one. So we shall see. There's a chance we might not be able to get either of these depending on the stats that we have. I don't remember. And if that's the case, then I can just go back and make sure that we have enough for this save. Alright, return to game. I don't know why I'm suddenly like, my hair is in my face, my hands are cold, so 1 second, let me... It's always like right as I'm about to start reading that no matter what I do, I'm uncomfortable. Darren was waiting for us in front of our cave. The moment we got into hearing range of him, he started to rant about how we shouldn't have gone off on our own, but he stopped mid-sentence when we got closer and he saw all of Kate's cuts and bruises. He immediately rushed to her aid with a healing spell, and after that, she went back inside the cave to get some sleep, without saying another word. When Darren asked me what happened, I told him all about the Duke of Bagelberry and his merry men, and how they ambushed us. You were lucky that you managed to get out of there alive, Darren said to me. Why did we even bother to have a strategy meeting yesterday if we were all going to ignore it afterwards anyway? After he's cooled off a bit, the two of us resumed our guard duty, posting ourselves in front of the cave's entrance. As we stand guard, we start discussing about the tournament and its organization as we've seen it thus far. I just can't understand it, Darren tells me. What are the organizers thinking? They're letting people with without any trace of magic join this contest, and they don't even bother to enforce a rule that prohibits fighting before they announce the objectives. It's like they don't even care about all the lives that are at stake. I don't think they do, I tell Darren. Do you remember what they made us agree to before joining the tournament? Whoever wins this championship will be obligated to come to Varathia's aid in case of an outside invasion. People only agreed to it because there hasn't been an attempt at invading Varathia in thousands of years. But I don't think that's the point. They just want the most powerful mage in the world to serve as their own personal scarecrow. They probably only care about whoever's going to win. But even so, if their goal is to get their hands on a powerful mage, why have they still not announced the objectives? Wouldn't it be in their best interest to get this tournament finished up as quickly as possible? Maybe there are no objectives. Maybe they encountered some unexpected technical difficulties. Maybe they're waiting for our numbers to decrease. If anyone would like to participate and suggest one of these three answers, now is your chance. Otherwise, I will make a decision for us in about a minute. Okay. Then I will go with... This is what I did in my actual run-through. I'll go with this one. Maybe they're waiting for our numbers to decrease. Maybe they weren't expecting such a high number of participants and they were waiting for us to kill each other while we wait for the objectives. Well, if that's their plan, then they're working magnificently for them. I just hope you're wrong about this. Before we continue our conversation, we sense someone approaching our location. Kate's barrier spell must have worn off. Keep your guard up, Barry. As this person approaches, we can sense his magical aura more clearly. His magical aura is just as weak as that of the crossbowmen from before. Is this a survivor from our last battle, looking to avenge his fallen comrades? When he gets within visual range of us, we discover that he is rather young for a warrior, and he isn't wearing any protective gear. He seems to be somewhere in his late teens, but no older than 20. And he is not wearing loose pants or a loose tunic. Not much different. He seems to be somewhere in his late teens, but no older than 20. He is wearing loose pants and a loose tunic, not much different from the clothes that one would normally change before going to bed. The fact that he's walking with his eyes closed and his hands in his pockets is not really helping his case either. He looks like he just got out of bed to get a midnight snack, and definitely not like a participant in a life and death tournament. However, he can't be one of the locals either, since we would have been immediately notified not to harm him. Hi, I'm for Pink Lizard. That only hurts a little bit. Thank you for hanging out. Even with your snark. Also, since this is the recording and people don't know it, today is actually my birthday. It is, well, during this stream it has become my birthday. So I guess tomorrow will actually be my birthday, but it's my birthday right now, and I turned 27. Alright, back to the story. Good morrow, lad, Darren shouts after the boy. Lovely day for a walk, isn't it? What business would you have with us? If you were lost, we'd be more than happy to give you directions. With Darren, it's hard to tell if he's being sarcastic or sincere, since there are no hints in his look or in his tone of voice, and as I've known him so far, he'd be capable of either of those things in this situation. Our young visitor didn't seem to have taken offense at Darren's remark, and smiles politely with his eyes still closed. There's no need, the boy answers. I was looking for some old friends of mine when I sensed there was a fellow Stillwater nearby, and I just had to stop by and say hello. There are so few of us nowadays that it would be a shame to not at least greet each other in passing. My name is Eden. Pleased to meet you. My body freezes for a second. An actual Stillwater? Here? No. I should calm down. It's likely just another guy who came up with the same idea as me. I refuse to fall for my own trick. Seeing that I don't say anything, Darren replies in my stead. Don't mind him. Barry's a little shy. I'm sure that he's also pleased to make your acquaintance. My name's Darren. Oh? Then you must be the healer in armor I've been hearing so much about. And it seems that you also have a third member of your party. A survivor of the Beacon of Hope, no less. I did not know any of them were still alive. What is the Beacon of Hope? Why is she a survivor? Did the Beacon of Hope burn down? If there's anyone that would like to help make a decision, now is your chance. Otherwise, I'm going to go with probably this one. I think I went with this one in my last read through, but basically the same. Okay, I'll go with this one. What's the Beacon of Hope? You mean she didn't tell you? Well then, I won't spoil the surprise. Why don't you ask her yourself when she wakes up, my Stillwater friend? I'm gonna stop you right there, Eden. Darren interrupts. I don't think it's necessary to carry on with this charade anymore. You and I both know that Darren is an ordinary human and not a Stillwater. What? You told them the truth? Eden asks me. I honestly did not think you managed to make it this far without pulling a bluff. I honestly did not think you managed to make it this far without bluffing. I must admit, I'm impressed. This Stillwater bluff isn't going to get you very far, you know, Darren continues, especially since you're blind. Whoever heard of a blind Stillwater? What makes you think I'm blind? You've been keeping your eyes closed ever since we first saw you. Oh, this. I actually can see just fine. I first closed my eyes long ago when I got tired of seeing the ugliness of humanity. I mostly only open my eyes in completely unpopulated areas nowadays. My magical sense is more than adequate to replace... My magical sense is a more than adequate replacement for my eyesight. I can feel every creature's and every object's magical aura, which tells me where they are, and I get the added benefit of not falling prey to illusion spells. I don't need an extra sense to constantly remind me of why I despise humans so much. Aren't you a little young to be worrying about humanity's sins? Or is this some kind of phase you're going through in order to get your parents to notice you? Eden smiles. You, of all people, should know better, healer in armor. Surely, you must have seen all of the world's sufferings and injustice throughout your travels. The anguish, the agony, you've seen them all, over and over. Tell me, healer, you've spent a lifetime trying to right the wrongs. You've spent a lifetime trying to right the wrongs others have made. Do you feel like the world has become a better place because of it? Just because there's a lot of evil left in the world doesn't mean there's no good worth fighting for. As long as I don't give up, I will find a way. Eden's smile widens, but his eyes remain closed. Oh, so you're an idealist then. But tell me, hero, what happens when your pure ideals clash with the cold, hard truth of reality? Suddenly, Darren falls flat on his chest, and I can tell he's being pressed against the ground by a very powerful force. What happens when you meet a force so great that it simply squashes you against the ground as if you were an insect? The force pushing Darren to the ground intensified so much that it made a large Darren-shaped hole in the hard rock soil beneath him. He could no longer hold back the pain and started screaming in agony. I realize my hands have gone cold and my whole body is shaking. I need to pull myself back together. If I screw this up, we'll all get slaughtered. Let him go, I tell Eden, trying to sound as confident as possible. You want to save your friend, Barry? Then how about we make it an even trade? Your life for his. I promise. I'll leave your friend alone if you give up your life for him. If you give your life for him. What do you say? Accept the trade. Propose a different trade. How about another trade? What do you have in mind? When we first met, you said you were looking for some friends. If you let us live, we could deliver a message for you, in case we find these friends of yours before you do. So you're saying your friend's life is only worth delivering a message? It is to you. I think you've already made it abundantly clear that human life holds no value to you. That means it should be all the same to you whether you let us live or not. But if you let us live, you will get your message delivered. How's that for an even trade? Eden laughs and the force pushing Darren against the ground gets weaker. Well, when you put it like that, I suppose you have a point. Very well then, your lives for a message. He stops to think for a bit before he continues. The friends I'm looking for always wear dark blue robes, and on their chests they should have brooches that appear. The friends I'm looking for always wear dark blue robes, and on their chests they should have brooches that picture a hawk holding the sun in its talons. If you meet any people that fit this description, just tell them that Eden sends them this message. Remember this still winter. And if they ask me what that means, they won't. No matter who you meet, as long as they fit the description I gave you, they'll understand what that message. They'll understand the message perfectly. Okay then. Consider it done. Perfect. Eden releases Darren from his spell and turns to leave. I won't let you leave this place, Darren says as he slowly gets back up. Surely you must be kidding, Eden tells him. If I let you go now, you'll only hurt more innocent people. I'll stop you, no matter the cost. See, now that puts me in a difficult position, since I already made an even trade with Barry over here. I can't just kill you now, since it would violate the terms of our trade agreement. Silence! Darren rushes towards the Stillwater and slashes fiercely towards his neck. Eden dodges effortlessly, and Darren quickly goes for a second strike, this time cutting him in half. This time meant to cut him in half. Eden steps casually to the side, making it look like child's play. After a few more wasted strikes on Darren's part, just when it looks like he thought he might have the Stillwater on the wrong foot, Eden simply puts his bare hand in front of his face and stops the full blow of the sword with only his index finger. No, Darren says, as if he couldn't believe his eyes. I tire of this, says Eden as he makes a gesture with his other hand. In less than a second, Darren dropped to the ground like a log, his armor making a loud clink as it hits the rocky soil below. No! I shout. I only put him to sleep, the Stillwater says. He'll wake up in a few minutes. He turns to leave. Oh, and don't worry about looking for my friends. I'm sure you'll be meeting them soon enough. He smiles again, and then he heads towards the woods. Darren, can you hear me? Wake up! There's no answer. Just what kind of spell did this guy use? I'm pretty sure that Darren has some really strong spells protecting him at all times. Standard sleep spells should be no more than a moderate inconvenience for him. When I try to wake Darren up, I suddenly hear a very familiar voice coming from the direction in which Eden disappeared. Stillwater! That's Cutthroat Dave's voice, no doubt about it. I'd recognize that hoarse voice and that thuggish accent anywhere. I turn around towards where the voice came from and see that aside from a familiar face, there are also a dozen other unfamiliar faces lined up in front of me. It would appear Dave has managed to assemble a team in the short time we were apart. The sad part is that Dave looks like a well-bred gentleman compared to his new colleagues. Some of them look and smell like they haven't washed for months. I guess birds of a feather really do flock together. I've been looking for you, Stillwater, Dave says. I have tracked your footsteps since yesterday. I told you we'd meet again. No one can run or hide from Cutthroat Dave. I never doubted you for a second, Dave. Can we try that again? I just came up with this great idea for a hiding spot. I'm so relieved. I thought you got lost along the way. I think that I went with this one last time. I don't think any of these matter, but I'll save anyways. Would anyone like to help make a decision here? I don't know if I'm going to be able to meet the requirements here. Okay, well, go to sleep. That's sort of the point of this. Sweet dreams, Mr. Kennedy. Good night. Alright, I'm gonna go with... Thank you! I'll go with this one. Could we try that again? I just came up with this great new idea for a hiding spot. The only hiding spot you're heading for is your grave, boy. What happened to your healer friend? Is he taking a little nap? Just as Dave finishes his sentence, Darren starts waking up and looks around him confused. What happened? Where's the Stillwater? He asks me. Forget the Stillwater. Look who came to greet us. Dave's henchmen started talking amongst themselves. It seems they are not fully convinced they should risk going into battle against both the legendary hero Darren and his Stillwater at the same time. I can take advantage of this and call for Kate. Kate! We're being attacked! Come quick! I try to call for her again, but I still get no response. I guess our brawl with the crossbow men must have taken a bigger toll on her than she let on. It seems that it's going to be just me and Darren for the duration of this fight. I'd better put that stat device to good use. What are you so scared of? Darren asks the men. I took down that sad excuse of a... What are you so scared of? Dave asks his men. I took down that sad excuse for a hero by myself yesterday. Don't believe everything you hear on the street. His legends are just as full of crap as those Stillwaters. This is the real world. Barry, Darren says, I know this isn't what we talked about yesterday during our strategy meeting, but I don't think I can fight all these thugs by myself, especially considering my weakness to Dave's technique. Is there any way you could join the fight? Even keeping their leader busy for a while could mean the difference between life and death. This may seem like a rather stupid question given our situation, but Darren, did you happen to have a spare dagger I could use? Darren shakes his head in disapproval and hands me a dagger from his belt. Really, Barry, there were dozens of daggers on the ground you could have picked up on our way here. Try to take this more seriously. Keep Cutthroat Dave busy while Darren defeats the others. Try to defeat Cutthroat Dave. And I believe... defeated Cutthroat Dave.
Hydrate, bitch!
Mr. Kennedy, thank you for the hydrate. I'd rather fight Dave head-on than try to distract him. I think it's safer to try and finish the fight quickly than dragging it out until you can join in. As you wish. What's your plan then? I plan to do this. Alright, so depending on how this goes, I might just need to sort of speedrun so that I can save my stats, since I don't know if any of these stats will be good enough to defeat him. Strength check failed, level 3. Speed check failed, level 3. Reflexes failed, level 3. Alright, I can do speed and reflexes. There's the hydrate. I pick up a rock from the ground and throw it at Cutthroat Dave as hard as I can. The Cutthroat blocked it with 2 of his flying daggers. This ain't no rock throwing contest, boy. You'd better be prepared for what's coming. I have his attention, I tell Darren. Now go! Go! Darren wastes no more time and rushes towards the Cutthroat Dave's henchmen. The Cutthroat's flying knives are now all flying towards me at a very rapid pace. I get out of their way and start heading towards my target. As I approach Dave, 4 of his knives block my path and fly towards me. I manage to dodge 2 of them, but the other 2 hit me in my left leg. I drop to one knee, unable to move from the pain. Cutthroat Dave approaches me with a big grin on his face. His flying knives now have me completely surrounded, and they're all facing me menacingly, floating in the air, just ready to strike. It's over, boy. It's over, boy. It's too late to cry for mercy now. Don't think I'm going to give you an easy death. My knives like to play with their prey before they finish it. Say your prayers, you arrogant little git. Cutthroat Dave's going to enjoy. A pillar of fire appears in place of where Cutthroat Dave was originally standing, and his gloating gets replaced with desperate screams of agony. The fire completely ignores all of the vegetation around it, and when it dies out, I see nothing remains of the Cutthroat except for his ashes, that are now scattering in the wind. Shortly after, Eden emerges from the shadows with his usual smile on his face. It doesn't take me long to realize who was behind the previous display of fireworks. See, Barry? This is how you deal with the vermin infestation. You! Darren shouts from the other end of the clearing. He seems to have finished dealing with Cutthroat Dave's henchmen and is now rushing towards the still water with his sword in hand. Once again, with one gesture of his hands, Eden puts Darren to sleep in the middle of his sprint, which makes him fall on the ground and slide on his armor for a few feet before coming to a halt. Seriously, this is getting ridiculous, Eden says. His gaze turns back to me. Tell me, what kind of mailman dies before setting foot out of the post office? I have half a mind to file a complaint for your shoddy services. I'm really sorry. I promise that I'll do better next time. That's the spirit, he says as he starts vanishing into thin air. Once Eden's outline is barely visible anymore, I hear his voice echo from the trees around me. Deliver my message, Barry, and do not fail me again. Alright. Okay, so we have enough for speed and reflexes. Which would we like to do? If there is anyone that is still conscious that would like to participate, Skenya, hi, welcome in. Good to see you again. Hope you slept well.
Bitch! I love you!
Mark Metzger, thank you so much for the follow, welcome. Welcome to the toy box. So in order to... The reflex... Welcome, hello! I don't know when you guys got here, but we're achievement hunting. We all are in this toy box. Hell yeah. I'm glad that's the way you're taking it. So the achievement fails that right now we are achievement hunting. The achievement we are aiming for right now, achievements, book 1, book 4, is defeated Cutthroat Dave, won a duel against Cutthroat Dave. So we're about to do that. The check that we just failed is there is a strength check level 3, speed check level 3, and reflexes check level 3. I'm not sure if any of these are enough, but return to game. I have to decide if I want to do speed or reflexes. If you guys want to participate, you are more than welcome to in helping me make decisions. I might end up having to speedrun this if neither of these will get it, because I don't remember. Just to get back to this place with the correct stat points. But I'm inclined to do this one first, unless someone would like me to do the other one first. And you could also just listen to my voice and go to sleep. That's what I feel like most of the people here like to do. And if someone wants to request that I speedrun up to this point with enough stats to go for something a little more aggressive like strength, I'm also willing to do that. I'll give y'all a minute, and then I'm gonna go with reflexes. Well, that is why I do this. So, I'm sorry you stayed up all night. Hopefully it was intentional. If it was insomnia, I feel you. So, if I'm able to help you fall asleep, that's my goal. So, good night. Thank you once again for joining. Alright, I'm gonna go with reflexes. Welcome to the toy box. Glad you're enjoying my voice and listening in. Strength check failed, level 3. Speed check failed, level 3. Reflexes check successful, level 3. I pick up a rock from the ground and throw it at Cutthroat Dave as hard as I can. The Cutthroat is blocked with 2 of his flying daggers. This ain't no rock throwing contest, boy. You'd better be prepared for what's coming. I have his attention, I tell Darren. Now go! Go! Darren wastes no more time and rushes towards Cutthroat Dave's henchmen. The Cutthroat's flying knives are now all flying towards me at a very rapid pace. I get out of their way and start heading towards my target. As I approach Dave, 4 of his knives block my path and try to fly towards me. I may not be fast enough to outrun his daggers, but at least my reflexes are sharp enough to get out of their way in time. I get close to him again, but his knives won't let I try to get close to him again, but his knives won't let me. This is getting me nowhere. I need to find a way to go on the offensive. My daggers have a mind of their own, Stillwater. You'll never escape from them no matter how hard you try. That's it. His daggers have a mind of their own. He isn't controlling them all at the same time. I can use this to my advantage. I take a good look to see where his daggers are. I then make sure a few of them are following me and make a run towards Cutthroat Dave. As before, a few of his daggers post themselves in front of me in order to defend their master. I wait until the final moment and slide underneath them, continuing my sprint towards the Cutthroat. Dave readies 2 daggers he was holding in his hands and prepares to block my strike. Instead of slashing at him, I feint an attack and quickly sidestep to his right side. As I was hoping, he did not see the flying daggers that were following close behind, and as a result, he did not get to stop them in time. Two of them went right through his stomach, and another one went through his left leg. One more hit should finish this for once and for all. Aim for the kill, aim to neutralize them, but don't kill him. Especially considering this is just achievement hunting, I'll probably aim for the kill. But if someone would like to make a preferred choice... Well, both of these are aiming. Okay, sounds good. Achievement unlocked! Defeated Cutthroat Dave. I show him no mercy. I quickly lunge for him, aiming my blade straight for his heart. I can feel his body stop moving as I pull my dagger out, and he drops to the ground lifeless along with his flying knives. Looking towards the other side of the clearing, it seems Darren managed to make short work of Cutthroat Dave's henchmen. Not even one of them is left alive. There's a slow sound of clapping coming from the trees. Looking to see what's making the sound, I see Eden leaning against a pine tree with his usual smile on his face. "Impressive, Barry," he says. "You don't often see stat boosters used so efficiently these days." "You!" Darren shouts as he rushes towards the Stillwater. Once again, with one gesture of his hands, Eden puts Darren to sleep in the middle of his sprint, which makes him fall to the ground and slide on his armor for a few feet before coming to a halt. "Seriously, this is getting ridiculous," Eden says. "You know about stat boosters too?" I ask the Stillwater. "I do. And what I also know is why that stat booster works so well for you specifically. Have you ever wondered why that is, Barry?" He's right. The stat booster has performed beyond all of my expectations since I got here. I didn't really give it much thought since I figured my calculations must have been wrong. But even with all of the energy it's accumulating, something is still clearly off. But I don't suppose you're going to just give me the answer. Of course not. Where would the fun in that be? But do not fret. As long as you remain on this island, you will get your answers sooner or later. He smiles. Well then, I'll be waiting for you to deliver my message. Do not fail me, Barry. With these last words, he turns his back to me and he disappears into the darkness of the forest. Alright. So, if I remember correctly, I don't think with the decisions made up until now that I will be able to get this one. Which I could speedrun it. Oops, wrong one. Alright, I'll leave it up to you guys. Move on to the next chapter and try to get the achievements there, or have me speedrun it really quickly to make the decisions necessary to get the other chapter, or get the other achievement for this chapter. I'll do the speedrunning one. It'll give me more options for what to do in the future. New game. So, what's going on here is I'm deciding what my mood is. So right now, the decision that I'm making is, I'm just gonna go. Alright, here we go. Okay, so what I did differently for this run through is at the beginning of chapter 1, I have to make the decision of whether or not to show myself to Cutthroat Dave when he senses my aura from behind a tree. And in the previous run through, what I did was I showed myself and I threatened him and made him leave. So this time I threatened him to make him leave, but I did not show myself, so he does not know what I look like, only that I have a normal person's aura, so I might be a Stillwater, which is a mage, a very powerful mage that you can't tell that they're a mage from their aura. It doesn't even seem like they're suppressing it, which you can normally tell. Which is why it's called a Stillwater. So now I'm back up to where I was. I haven't done any stats, so in the next chapter we'll be able to just save and not save as we see fit. And now we are right after he made the deal, and then Darren passed out right before Cutthroat Dave shows up. Darren, can you hear me? Wake up! There's no answer. What kind of spell did this guy use? I'm pretty sure that Darren has some really strong spells protecting him at all times. Standard sleep spells should be no more than a moderate inconvenience to him. When I try to wake Darren up, I suddenly hear a very familiar voice coming from the direction in which Eden disappeared. Stillwater! That's Cutthroat Dave's voice, no doubt about it. I recognize that hoarse voice and that thuggish accent anywhere. I turned towards where the voice came from, but there's only trees. Why would Cutthroat Dave shout for me before even getting the chance to give a clear shot of my face? Then it hit me. He never got to see my face. I was hiding behind a tree the whole time. I rushed towards the woods to confirm my suspicions. I hide behind one of the trees and I take a peek. Just as I thought, Cutthroat Dave has mistaken Eden for me, and he's looking for revenge. He's managed to assemble a team in the short time that we were apart, and they all have the Stillwater surrounded. The sad part is that Dave looks like a well-bred gentleman compared to these new colleagues. Some of them look and smell like they haven't washed for months. I guess birds of a feather really do flock together. I've been waiting for you, Stillwater, Dave says. I've been tracking your footsteps since yesterday. I told you we'd meet again. No one can run or hide from Cutthroat Dave. I'm afraid you are mistaken, my good man, says Eden, smiling. I am quite sure I've never seen you before in my life. I am sure of that too. You'd have needed to open your eyes in order to see me. All of Cutthroat Dave's men suddenly burst into laughter at the same time. They are laughing loudly and vulgarly, probably in an attempt to intimidate their victim, just like a group of school bullies. Eden's expression does not change, and he continues to smile pleasantly. Don't think you can fool me by changing your voice a little. I'm too smart for that. I'd recognize that arrogant tone of yours anywhere. Where's your healer friend? Did he leave you here to rot after you saved his skin? Perhaps you're speaking of the healer in armor? If that's the case, he's right up there past these trees. Ha, nice try, Stillwater. That intimidating trick of yours ain't gonna work on me twice in a row. He turns his fingers to his esteemed colleagues. Men, ready your swords. Pull out your knives. This is what we came here for. Today we write our names in history. Today we become legends. Cutthroat Dave's men all give out a roar as they raise their hands, holding their weapons in the air. Eden's smile has widened. His expression is similar to to what it was before he smashed Darren into the ground. He's enjoying this. They're going to get massacred. Good, fewer enemies for us to worry about. Nobody deserves such a gruesome fate, not even Cutthroat Dave. I'm gonna save here. Because once again, I don't even think I went for this achievement during my run through. I just read about how to get there. And it's possible both of these will get us there. So, either or. If anyone would like to make a decision, now is your chance. Otherwise, probably go with this one. I'll give y'all a minute. Alright, I'm gonna go with this one then. Who knows what this sad sadistic bastard will do to them if I let him. Not even Cutthroat Dave deserves such a gruesome fate. At the very least, a death by my hands or by Darren's would be quick and painless. I'm not completely sure about Kate, though. I step out of my tree's shadow and face the cutthroats. David is now shifting his gaze between me and the Stillwater, unsure of what to think. Eden is looking at me, smiling. What's wrong, Dave? Has it really been so long that you've forgotten the sound of my voice? No, he answers. No, I remember your voice just fine. I hope you washed your neck while waiting for me, you arrogant prick. He then points towards Eden. Don't think I'm done with you. You better not leave this place until it's over. I wouldn't dream of it, Eden says, smiling. I rush out of the forest and head directly for Darren. The cutthroats are right on my tail, but they make a full stop when they see that I'm not alone. Darren, who is just waking up, is looking around him confused. What happened? Where's the Stillwater? Forget the Stillwater. Alright, that was already read earlier. I don't want to do this. I'm gonna go back and let them all be killed. Good, fewer enemies for us to worry about. There's no reason for me to pity the likes of Cutthroat Dave. If I save his neck here, he's most definitely going to attack me next. If I defeat him and then leave him alone, he'll just go on a rampage and kill innocent people. A few more dead thugs in the world won't make any difference. I very much doubt that anyone's going to mourn their passing. I decide not to intervene and let the battle run its course. Cutthroat Dave initiates by sending a few flying knives towards the Stillwater. Just as they reach Eden, they all stop in mid-air in front of him. Eden smirks as he points towards the cutthroat. All of the knives unconditionally obey their new master and head towards Dave at breathtaking speed. He manages to parry them in the nick of time with his own flying knives, but he looks dumbstruck. What kind of sorcery is this? He says. The magic kind, of course, the Stillwater answers him. See, this is a tournament for mages. Circus auditions were being held across the street. Dave's face contorts into a snarl. We'll see how funny you are with some holes in your skull, you cheeky bastard. Men, teach this little upstart a lesson. All of Cutthroat Dave's men jump at Eden, but he disappears right from under their nose and appears in front of Dave with a grin on his face, although his eyes remain shut. Sending your men to do your dirty work, Dave. I thought you were going to become a legend. Why are you hesitating? Dave pulls out a knife from his belt and slashes for Eden's neck. Shut your smart arse mouth and die, you little sh... Before the thug got to finish his sentence, Eden put his palm on Dave's face and made his head explode into 1,000 pieces. Cutthroat Dave's life had ended just like that, without even having the time to realize he was dead. Blinded by rage, Dave's loyal followers rushed screaming towards Eden with their weapons at the ready. They didn't get too far, though. With a snap of his fingers, the still water made a huge pillar of fire appear in front of him, which incinerated the thugs to a point where not even their bones were left intact. The fire completely ignored all the trees around it, and Eden simply put it out with another snap of his fingers. I expected this to be quick, but this outcome far exceeded my expectations. He can even cast fire magic. What the hell are we supposed to do to fight this guy? Eden turns towards me, and I suddenly remember that he relies primarily on his magical sense and not on his eyesight in order to assess his surroundings. He must have sensed my presence ever since before the beginning of the battle. Did you enjoy the show, Barry? He asked me. His smile is gone from his face. It was quite the spectacle, I tell him. That it was. It would appear the cutthroat had mistaken me for another Stillwater. To tell him the truth, make up a lie. If anyone would like to help make a decision, now is your chance. I'm going to give you guys a minute. And Seimo Sumo, welcome in. Thank you for joining. If no one wants to join, or if no one wants to, yeah, I will make a decision, and I'll probably go with this one if no one wants to help, which I don't mind whatsoever. No, if you tell him the truth, you're telling him that you pretended to be him, basically. And if you lie to him, he'll know. But the goal is to get your kneecaps broken, so. I have a shelf right here. Alright, make up a lie. Here we go. Urk, welcome in. Thank you for lurking and still being here. I don't, but it worries me as well. You think there might be other Stillwaters in this area? Eden smiles. With one gesture of his hands, he paralyzes my body, and I stand and makes me float all the way to his position. I struggle in vain to escape his grasp. His spell is too strong. Once I arrive in front of him, Eden answers his own question. They were looking for you, Barry. You really have a lot of nerve lying to my face like that. Perhaps I was wrong about you. Perhaps I will deliver my message myself, after all. No, wait, I can explain. I have no further need for your services or your explanations, Barry. You are hereby relieved of duty. Before even giving me a chance to reply, he gestures with his hand once more, and my neck snaps, killing me instantly. Load game? So the other one is tell him the truth. Achievement unlocked. I really need a break. I think you already have the answer to that question. I do indeed. Tell me, Barry, how did you come to the conclusion that using me to clean up your mess was a good idea? Well, I figured you wouldn't have any trouble dealing with those lowly thugs, and you seem to enjoy it well enough. Otherwise, you would have simply cut down the tree I was hiding behind in order to reveal me to the cutthroats. Fascinating! You appear to have no sense of crisis. Allow me to help you in that regard. As he finishes his sentence, I start feeling like something. Feeling something pressing against my throat. It feels like an invisible rope is tying around my neck, and it is slowly lifting me above the ground. It's not just my imagination. I really am being lifted higher and higher above the ground. It's getting a lot harder to breathe as the invisible noose gets tighter around my neck. I try to take the noose off with my hands, but there's nothing there. If this goes on much longer, I'm seriously going to die. Once I get several feet above the ground, the invisible noose suddenly disappears, and I fall on the rocky soil, dropping to my knees. I could hear a loud crack as I hit the ground. I'm pretty sure that the fall broke. Once I get several feet above the ground, the invisible noose suddenly disappears, and I fall to the rocky soil, dropping to my knees. I could hear a loud crack as I hit the ground. I'm pretty sure that the fall broke both of my kneecaps. The pain is excruciating. Now that I have your attention, the Stillwater continues, I want you to understand something. If you try something like that again, both broken kneecaps are going to be the least of your problems, of your worries. Are we clear? Crystal. Eden's smile comes back to his face. That's what I like about you, Barry. Even in the face of utter annihilation, you manage to maintain your defiant, sarcastic tone. But you are neither strong nor brave, so what is it then? What is the driving force that propels you forward? Stupidity? Well said, Eden says, smiling. I think your healer should have woken up from his slumber by now. Go ahead and call him. I'm sure he's fixed more than a few broken kneecaps in his lifetime. I'll be waiting for you to deliver my message, Barry. Do not fail me. Do not fail me, Barry. With these last words, he turns his back to me and disappears into the woods. El Chalupa, is that water shelf stable? It is. And even if it wasn't, if it was kind of risky, I would rather the water fall on me than on my computer, which is why my water does not go on my desk. Worst case scenario, I get soaked and my computer is still okay. But it is stable. There's other stuff on it too. I should be asleep. I've been awake for over 24. Go to sleep. What? Your health is important. I want a floating. Samosuma, I want a floating cup. It's not floating. That would be pretty cool, but also I feel like that would be riskier than shelf. Yes, Onyx, Dave is an ass. Skenya, wow, what a wake up. First the dogs, that was expected, but there was 2 dudes here changing out our fridge in the freezer as well. Slightly stressful. May I eat breakfast now before the next thing attacks? Onyx, I'm confused. If you did that chapter before and the characters die with lie, how is the achievement unlocked? Can't continue without reloading, no? Oh, I did reload. I went back to a previous save and then did the tell the truth. So, yeah, you're right. I had to go to a previous save, and that's what I ended up doing. Alright, so this means I have successfully gotten all of the achievements from Chapter 4. 22 of 35 unlocked. Transfer achievements back. So normally I try to do all of the achievements in one recording, so considering now I have 9 stats to play with from, turn to game and let me look at the achievements for chapter 5 to make sure. So stat device wielder, upon lending the stat device to Darren, you make an unexpected discovery. Admitted liar, sometimes you just have to grab the bull by the horns. A good deed, even a small act of, well, I already did this one. Even a small act of selflessness can go a long way. Shameless, take the credit for someone else's deeds without shame. Alright, so I'm gonna stick with this one, but I will, yeah. Alright, so, return to game. I'm going to save right here. Save. Load game. Yes, 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 this is where we are. Keep having an issue with transfer. This was this one. Okay. Alright, now I'm going to quit the game. Sorry that I didn't have much more reading when you guys got here. Barry is not a mage at the moment. His goal, his one life goal, is to become a mage. So he decided, since the reward for this tournament is being given access to the Magium, which the only thing he knows about it is it's the source of all magic, and he's hoping that if he somehow manages to win this tournament with his fierce determination and vast knowledge of magic, he will be able to use the Magium to become a mage himself. So that's his main goal in life. And he's acquired allies and stuff. There are multiple run-throughs that you can do. The run-through that I have finished the game with, and I'm waiting to be able to move on to game 2, is Smart Good Barry, so does the morally right choices and the smart choices. And I'm leaving him open to multiple love interests to, why narrow down his options, Because there are multiple love interests. Yeah. Okay, so now I'm going to stop the recording, but not the stream. So I'm just going to say to everyone that is watching this on my YouTube, I hope you enjoyed that. We are at 22 of the 25 needed ones, so we might be able to move on to the next book during the next achievement hunting or recording. And I hope you guys have a lovely day or night. Alright, stop recording.